Hi guys, welcome to another Asus Transformer Prime video. A fantastic question somebody asked me in one of the comments recently was whether you could plug two controllers into the Asus Transformer Prime in order to play two-player games on applications that support Gamepads. Well, I scratched my head and thought, is that possible? So I thought I might as well try it and see what happens. And the good news is, I think it does. But I'll need to show you first of all the tools I have with me in order to demonstrate this. So the first thing you need, obviously because the Transformer Prime has only one USB port, is you will need a hub USB in order to plug in more than one USB. The second thing you'll need is obviously two controllers, and I've just cobbled together the controllers that I do have. The first being an Xbox 360 wired controller, which works perfectly with the Asus Transformer Prime. And then this wonderful device that I'm not sure if it even exists anymore, which is a PlayStation controller and N64 controller USB port. You can only use the PlayStation or the N64 at one time, so I'm going to use an old PlayStation controller to show you using that. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to plug everything in and then I'll see if it works. Hardly not the most portable device anymore, but we'll just check to see if everything's working. So I have my USB hub with my lights on here plugged into a Transformer Prime. I have my lights on here on my PlayStation USB controller converter, and if I press the analog stick we'll see that the light comes on, so it is working. And we also have the Xbox light flashing as well, so I know that the controllers do seem to be plugged in and powered at the moment, so we'll see if they'll work. Now, the next thing is, are there any applications that support two-player gamepads? Well, the only one that I have and can use is SNES Droid, because obviously that's emulating a SNES console, which means that obviously it can accept more than one player. So if I go into SNES Droid now, and go to Settings, and then go to Configure Game and Input Device, Configure Key Gamepad Input. Apologies, by the way, my camera is having issues with zooming in and out at the moment. So we have here that we can see on this left hand side there should be lots of player ones, and if I scroll down it scrolls down onto player 2, and then obviously if I had a multi-tap, if I had more controllers, I could perhaps do even more, but I'm not going to do that. So we'll configure player 1 first. Let me just get my camera working. So this will require the Xbox controller. I'll just have to zoom out a little bit more. So you're not going to be able to see too much on the screen here. Basically, you don't need to see perfectly what's showing on the screen here. Just the fact that it's going to map. So if I press on the top one here, you can see that it's turned red because now it's waiting for a mapping. So if I press the A button there, that means it did accept the input, so it's mapped. And then I'm going to go down to player 2 controls and switch over to the PlayStation controller, and we'll try exactly the same thing. And we'll press A on there, and it's accepted the input on there. So I would presume then that both controllers are working and they've accepted the inputs from both controllers. Now, before I did this video, I did some mappings already to check that it worked, and it seemed to be fine. All I need to do is test it now, but unfortunately I haven't got a friend at the moment, so just give me a moment and I'll see if I can sort that out. So what I've done now is I've plugged in the Asus Transformer Prime into my LCD television, and I've actually got an able-bodied assistant to help me with the playing of Super Mario Kart on the SNES Droid. So my lovely girlfriend on the left-hand side, who's holding the PlayStation controller as it sinks to below the bottom of the screen, and I keep having to ask her to lift the controller up, is controlling the bottom player, who I have unfortunately obscured with my own controller. But as you can see, the two controllers are working absolutely fine to play the game. There we are, thank you, lift up the controller. You'll also notice that my girlfriend is doing the time-honoured tradition of trying to steer the PlayStation controller in an attempt to get more leverage glitch when driving a car. Unfortunately, that didn't work in Mario Kart 20 years ago, but it does now work on the Wii version, so I think she just hasn't realised that she's playing a 20-year-old game. But nevertheless, just to demonstrate here that the Asus Transformer Prime now has in it a USB hub with 2 controllers, and I am playing on Super Mario Kart on the a big 32-inch screen, and another demonstration of how flexible the Asus Transformer Prime can be when it wants to be. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in another video very, very soon.